welcome to a brand new episode of the Fit Women's Weekly Podcast. If this is your first time tuning in, welcome. I hope that you enjoy what you hear and you either go back and listen to previous episodes or you make sure to stick around for future episodes. Audio-wise, whether you're listening to iTunes or Spotify, I put out a brand new episode every Wednesday and every Friday. And on YouTube, I put out an episode every single Thursday. So if you like to look at it from a video aspect, check it out on YouTube. Otherwise, hang out with me. Every Friday, I do a shorter post doing some Q&As. And then on Wednesdays, I do my longer, more detailed episodes. But either way, I always try to make sure I've got some good nuggets to help improve your fitness, your lifestyle, your mindset, your confidence, your nutrition. So if you ever have a question or a topic that you want covered on the show, you guys never hesitate to reach out. You can either drop into my DMs, Kindle Boyle Fitness, KINDALBOYLE Fitness, or shoot me an email, kindle@fitwomensweekly.com. And of course, if you are watching this on YouTube, you can just ask down in the comments. Just make sure you leave all the comments very, very nice. I am still trying to focus on how to, not focus, but learn how to make sure that YouTube understands my target audience. For some reason, it's still about 80% men seeing this. And men are not so friendly all the time. So ladies, if you are watching this on YouTube, make sure to give it a thumbs up and comment. That's gonna help YouTube learn who should be watching my stuff. But regardless, whether you're listening or watching, please make sure to leave a review and connect with me. I love reaching out. So today's episode, we're gonna play a little bit of catch up. I put out a really important post over on Instagram on Monday, and I kind of wanted to talk a little bit more about that because I know that we can all relate in some way, shape, or form. So it's really personal. I actually did not mean to get so deep on the post, but it's received a lot of great feedback, so I figured I should mention it here as well, especially as we are closing out Mental Health Month, which is May, and going into a new month, new season. So it's kind of like, all right, let's get this off of our chest and then move forward. I promise this will be the last time, at least in a while, because I never want to not talk about it if this is a topic you enjoy hearing about or if it helps you. But as far as my personal mental health journey, this will be the last one before a little bit of a break. And I will, in the future, coming months, chit chat and catch up with you guys about it because it's going to be a journey, but I'm getting ahead of myself. So we're going to talk about that. We are also going to talk about a really cool question that I received for my upcoming coaching call that I'm doing on Saturdays, which is how to balance running and lifting. And I was just gonna leave it for Saturday's coaching, but I thought that it deserved a place here on the podcast as well. So I'm gonna answer that. And then before we jump into things, I had mentioned last week about my summer shred program that's gonna be kicking off July 10th. And as part of that, to help get the word out, I've been hosting free events over on my Facebook page for Fit Women's Weekly. And last week it was awesome. It was my first workout back. It was so good to be in front of the camera, working out with a lot of you guys. It meant the world to me. So we are gonna be doing that again this Saturday, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. But instead of doing a body weight interval workout, we are gonna do what goes down on Tuesdays. So because it's the second event, and Tuesday is the second day of the week, we're gonna be following our training schedule from Fit Women's Weekly Live. So this Saturday is gonna be a full body metabolic strength training workout focusing on using one set of dumbbells or kettlebells or even a barbell if you want to, but show up 10 a.m., work out with me. And if you aren't able to make it live, that's okay, it's gonna stay up. I actually created an event page for this program that we're doing. So every Saturday there'll be a new workout there and a new coaching where I'm answering your questions. And if you're like, oh man, I got a great question that I'd love to see you answer in those coaching calls, what you can do is go to the event page, and I'll make sure to link it down below, and pinned in the discussion is a link to get my free recipe cookbook, my summer shred recipe guide that has over 20 recipes. It is over 70 pages long because not only does it talk about recipes, for each recipe it also gives macro tips. So if the recipe itself naturally has more fat than what you would like, or you want to rev up the protein a little bit more to hit your goals, it has tips for that for each recipe. But it also has the 6 nutritional changes that you should be making if you want to change your body composition. And you get it for free. It's on the event page. All you have to do is click on it and you'll get the download link. And when you go to that download link for your recipe book, there's also a question box where if you want me to answer your question for the coaching call, which I will, I've answered all of them the last one. And if that means going a little bit longer than 30 minutes for the coaching call, I will make sure to answer all of them this week as well. So go ask your question. It is anonymous and I will answer it. So yeah, another reason to sign up for the event. And again, if you can't make it live, no big deal. And if you just want the recipe book and you're like, Kendall, working out, it's just not my thing right now. I get it. Maybe right now you just want to focus on your nutrition. I will put the link down in the show notes as well for just getting that recipe nutrition guide, because I want you guys to have access to it. This is actually going to be the training guide that I use for nutrition during my 8-week summer shred. So where most programs are just fitness and they just do daily movement goals, for me, Summer Shred is a total package. Being a nutrition coach and a personal trainer and a women's weight loss specialist makes me have this amazing ability to be able to combine everything into one. So the Summer Shred, it's going to include unlimited access to Fit Women's Weekly Live. It's going to include daily challenges to up your daily movement. It is going to include nutrition. So every single week, we're going to talk about different nutrition goals and how it can relate to you and your body and your specific goals. And it also has daily and weekly tracking templates, so you know exactly what to do each day, and then each week you can check in with yourself to say, how did I feel this week? What kind of results am I feeling? What's coming up next week that might throw me off a little bit so I can prepare? Or am I getting enough sleep? How was stress this week? Okay, stress was high this week. What can I do next week to try to decrease my stress? So I have all of that really important stuff inside and outside of the gym so that you can get results. Basically, every single tool that I have, I'm bringing to this challenge. So it's just one more reason to sign up and get that free Summer Shred book so that you can kind of get a jump start on things, learn a little bit more about the program, and it gives you time if you want to ask questions, because spots are gonna be limited and spots actually open up on on June 1st. So in just a couple of days, when this episode comes out, registration will open up the next day, and those people that are on the list will have first come, first serve priority to get into the shred. So yeah, and if you have questions about it, let me know. I'm happy to answer anything. All right, let's talk. I put out a post the other day entitled, I am not special. And the reason I say that is not because I don't find myself unique and beautiful and special in the world of things. I am not special because I'm no different than anybody else in what my body is able to endure. And it has taken 39 years for it to somewhat collapse, but it has overall collapsed a little bit over the past few months in regards to me thinking that I can burn both ends of the candle, that I can run my business and do a podcast and do YouTube videos and train 2 to 3 times a day, 5 to 7 days a week, and get 5 to 6 hours of sleep every night and avoid stretching and recovery and doing the things that I would tell my clients never to do, because in my head, I've always told myself, I'm special, I'm different, I can handle these things. And the truth of the matter is that I am not special. It's gonna catch up with you eventually, and it has finally caught up with me. And I say that because in the past month and a half, I've been talking about some symptoms here and there with you guys, because I'm always an open book, and I'm gonna continue to be an open book. So with that, over the past month and a half, my anxiety has never been higher than it is right now. It has never been lower than my depression has never been worse than it has been recently. I've never had as many injuries as I have had recently. Obviously, tearing my meniscus has really put a damper in the things that I love to do, but that was a really big rude awakening, because I do think that that's something that I could have avoided if I allowed my body to have more rest over the past couple of years and took the time to stretch as in depth, because it's not as if I don't stretch and I don't warm up. I do those things, but I should prioritize it more. And as you get older, you got to spend a little bit extra time on those activities. So as I always tell people, if you want to see results with your workouts, you can't just go through the movement of a workout, right? You have to go through it with intention. And I was just going through the movement of a warm-up and the movement of stretching. And so now I have to go into those things with intention. And that was what led me to overall have an injury. I have not had a period in a really long time, partly because I am on oral birth control, and that can obviously decrease your periods. But I also do know when life has slowed down in the past, I tend to get a really light period during that off week when you're off of your pills. And I have not had that in a couple of months. Off and on, I've also had some weight gain lately. which I've gained about 10 pounds, and I guess I could contribute that to increased calories. However, I maintained a certain weight for over close to a decade of my life. And so for all of a sudden that not to be my set weight really sets a red alert going, what's going on here? There's something underlining going on. And I've thought a lot about, is this something with premenopause? I am getting older. Is this something hormonal? Is this something with stress related? And I also want to remind you guys that during 2020, as a studio owner, it was very, very stressful on us. And I ended up getting shingles not once, but twice within the period of 1 year. So my body has been through it. And so I don't think it's all just from training too hard. I think just simply the stress of life, because I carry a lot of burden on myself and I put a lot of pressure on myself, has finally caught up with me. So why am I telling you this? Because I want you to know you're not alone. I literally almost reached rock bottom a couple of days ago and I'm not gonna cry this episode because I am actually excited for the coming weeks and the coming months because I've gotten a new perspective on things. But I basically told my husband and told one of my really close friends, I am hanging on by one thread. And that one thread is luckily super strong. I knew that, but I was on the verge of a breakdown and I had myself a little mini breakdown. And fortunately I have a husband who is like Mr. Sciencey. When I come to him with an issue, he dives deep head first, trying to not only learn what he can to help me, but also tries to learn to help understand, because mental health isn't something that he really understands. He's always like, well, why do you feel this way? Why can't you just be happy? Why can't you just not be anxious? And it's just not that easy. So when I came to him with this, he gave me a hug that night and I was like, I'm done crying. I just want a hug. And as he was giving me a hug, he's like, no, I want you, like, cry it out. So we had a really good cry, an amazing talk, and kind of just like, okay, now what? And we've made some, and I say we because I do have a support team and he is my family and he is there for me. And I also have some really close friends that I've reached out to, and we're making some really big lifestyle changes for me right now, which is really actually exciting. I'm looking forward to it, but I have a plan in action. So instead of saying like, this is just the way that it's gotta be for me, I'm thinking to myself, this is not the way it's going to be anymore. And so each and every day I'm choosing to make changes in my life to help me get out of this funk and take back control and to be fully happy again and fully healthy again. And I'm really excited. And I'm not gonna share all those changes, at least right now. I'm gonna experiment a little bit more with them and share it as I go through, but I'm taking notes each day on how I feel. I have talked to a doctor, so all that kind of stuff. And yeah, I'm on the up and up. Now, as far as other aspects of my life and this recovery, I'm looking for this summer and maybe even for the rest of this year as a full out health recovery period for me. This did not just happen overnight. This, I think, is the buildup from 2020 up. So it's 3 years of building of stress. And so I'm looking at this as going to take time. It's gonna take time for my knee to recover. I'm gonna be decreasing my exercise. I'm gonna be focusing on more nutrition, what makes me feel good, what doesn't, because my nutrition goes off and on as my anxiety levels go up and down. I think I deserve this, I don't deserve this. And so really it's looking at things a lot different. So I'm excited to share that journey with you guys. And as I go through it, I'll share more, but I am gonna give myself a couple of weeks to test things out. And then I'll kind of do a catch-up post episode about how things are going. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm really excited. And then as far as my knee is concerned, some of the things that I'm gonna be focusing on this summer is I am gonna take a step back from my running, even though I love running. Right now, I physically can't run. It hurts to run, right? But I'm gonna be making this summer the summer of strength. I have known for a long time that I am very strong posteriorly. My posterior chain, my glutes and my hamstrings, those bad boys work real hard. My quads, not so much. So over the course of the next couple of months, I'm gonna be doing a little bit extra leg work to build up the muscle. I'm gonna be going into a hypertrophy program to build specifically my quads, and I'm gonna focus on my rehab exercises that thankfully I've been studying a lot. Dr. Chuck, I think his name was. I don't know, I can put it down below. I had a really great episode that I watched for knee strength yesterday. Knee over toes guy has been helping a lot. So right now my regimen, if you are also dealing with knee stuff, knee pain, whether that is ligament pain, just joint pain, arthritic pain, or meniscus pain, obviously number one, talk to your doctor, but there are exercises that you can help improve mobility and decrease pain. And so some of those that I'm doing are right now just body weight leg extensions. I'm starting to do 5 to 10 minutes every day of backwards walking to help build strength in that quad. I'm also working on my sled, which I don't use the sled as often as I should, simply because it doesn't fit into Fit Women's Weekly Live training. And when I'm not doing that training, I really try not to work out. But I do know that it's super important. So I'm not putting weight on the sled at all. I'm pushing it and I'm pulling it backwards. Again, getting that backwards motion. I always train clients of what we do forward, we should be doing backwards. But backwards walking and backwards sled pulls, that's kind of something new to me. So I'm excited. And then I'm also doing something called reverse step-ups, where it's basically an elevated squat off of a box. So my good leg stays standing on the box, like a little box. I'm talking like right now, I think I have 4 plates stacked up. So we're talking like 10 inches off the ground. And I'm keeping that foot on the stack while my other foot comes off and taps the ground and comes back up. So those movements, as well as a lot of mobility and a lot of rolling. So I'm really focusing on rolling my quads, my hamstrings, and my calves, as well as my tibialis anterior. So I'm using 2 balls within a bag, like we have them in a little tote bag, but you can also think about putting 2 lacrosse balls in a sock and tying it off and rubbing the top of my leg, so along the shin, to help get the muscles there as well. So that together, I've actually finally been seeing some big dramatic improvements from day to day, so hopefully that continues. I was even able to do Murph yesterday. So yesterday was Memorial Day, and I did do a home version of Murph that we do every year for Fit Women's Weekly Live. So obviously we're not gonna run a mile because it's a filmed home workout, but we started it, so if you're ever wanting to do a home version, I go off of my best time. So a few years ago, I did the first mile in 7 minutes. So I do 7 minutes of an EMOM of 10 burpees. So it was 70 burpees by the time it was said and done. And then I do it unpartitioned. So I did, instead of pull-ups, because most people can't do pull-ups. In the past, I've always done pull-ups, but when we're filming for Fit Women's Weekly Live, I do not. We do leg raises, and then 200 push-ups and 300 squats. And I do that unpartitioned, though I go 300, 200, 100. And then to finish it yesterday, we did a 7-minute EMOM of 14 kettlebell snatches. So every minute on the minute, 14 snatches. You can do 7-7 per side, or you can do all 14 one hand, all 14 on the other hand. If you do it that way, I would do the first 6 rounds alternating, and then the 7th round do either 7 per hand or 14 on your weaker arm. So yeah, and it was fun. We did make it in under an hour. It was my first workout, my first real intense workout back after taking a week off. And it was hard. I actually got a little bit nauseous at the end, but it felt really good to knock that out. So if you're looking for a good workout and you want it to mean something, you're just craving a good, meaningful workout, knock out home Murph. So that workout was longer. The rest of this week, as I continue through recovery, I'm gonna keep my workout sessions to 30 minutes, even for all of my Fit Women's Weekly Live workouts. So I'm still gonna be going 2 times a day with Fit Women's Weekly Live, but instead of doing an hour version and a 30-minute version, they're both gonna be the 30-minute version. And I just have the best community, and 30 minutes, I will make sure to pack in a good workout in that time. So there you go. That's what happens when you burn the candle at both ends, and that's just me being honest and real. But I am excited over the next couple of months of how my body feels and how I recover through that. And I will probably get blood work. I have my annual doctor's appointment, I believe, in August. So at that time, I will probably get blood work done as well, because that'll give my body enough time to kind of adjust to some of the changes that I've recently done. I think if I get blood work now, it wouldn't be a honest depiction of what's going on. So I want to give my body some time to get rid of some medicine that is not in my body anymore before I get blood work done. So yeah, I'll keep you guys posted on that. All right, so now let's answer this awesome question, and that is, how do you balance running and lifting. For a really long time, I remember when I first got into fitness, it was kind of like you have to do one or the other, because if you're a runner, if you lift, you're going to hurt your running, and if you are a lifter, you are going to hurt your lifting and you're going to burn body mass. Amazingly enough, new research has come out that says that lifters that run and runners that lift do not impact either or. You're still going to be able to keep your body mass going as long as you continue with a strength training program. You may not be able to build on strength once you go into a running program, but you're not going to lose the muscle mass that you have already built unless you are purposely trying to lose it. And when it comes to running, you might not be able to run as hard and as fast during a cycle where you are lifting, but you're still building fitness. So after you take a week to taper or take some time off to rest and recover, you will see the benefits of your hard work come out. And lifting improves your running so much. I tell runners all the time, do not neglect lifting. Do not neglect your strength training. Not only is it going to make you a stronger, faster runner, you're able to pump your arms faster, you're able to move your legs more efficiently, but it also helps to prevent injuries. And I think most of us know that by now, but there still comes into this question of how do you balance it, right? If I lift, it's going to fatigue me, so I'm not going to run as hard. Well, I want you to keep the first thing that I said in mind. Yes, when you lift, you are going to be tired, and you might find yourself on the run being like, I'm supposed to be hitting these numbers, but I'm 5 seconds slower, or whatever the case may be. You might be, but once you let yourself recover or you go through that taper, you are still building fitness. You're just building fitness because you're on fatigued legs, and you're still forcing your body to adapt to running on fatigued legs. So if your speeds aren't as fast as you expect just because you do it after a lift, it's okay. It's okay. But I think the main question is, how do you pair your actual workouts? And I don't know if I've answered this before in the past. So first off, if you are doing, let's say, running on the same day, all right, running and lifting, doing your strength training on the same day, how should you pair it? Generally speaking, you have to ask yourself this: are you going to be running the next day, because that does come into effect, or is tomorrow a rest day or just another lift day? If you are not running the next day, then it's recommended that you do your strength training first, followed by your running. In an ideal world where we have time in our day to split it however we can, you'd want to split those between 6 to 9 hours so that your body does have time. That's what the research says. Personally, I like to combine it as close together doing my programming, because if I'm strength training first and then going straight from my run, my body isn't sore yet, right? I haven't started to experience DOMS, delayed onset muscle soreness. Whereas if I were to wait longer, for me, I start to get sore that night or the next morning. So if I wait too long, when I go for my run, chances are I'm going to be like, oh my God, I'm sore, I don't want to be doing this. But if I personally just knock it out right after, it works a little bit better for me. So it is individual, but it still comes down to your strength and then your run. However, if you have a run planned for the following day, you want to try to add as much time between your runs, right? So that your body can recover from that aspect. So you would do your run first, then your strength training, and then your run the following day. If you have a really good strength training program going on, you don't want to pair that the same day or this day before a really intense run's coming up. So if you are a quote unquote runner and you're not just running for level 2 cardio workout where you're just going for 6 miles at a steady pace, right? Let's say you're a real runner where you have a speed workout where you're doing speed intervals. Maybe you're doing 400s around a track. You don't want to do that right after you've killed yourself in the gym. You want to give yourself a rest day in between before you do that. So that's something else to figure out. As far as how much of each thing, I prefer to run 2 to 3 days a week. That's just what has always worked for me personally. I do it first thing in the morning, I get it out, and that has worked for me for over a decade. But you have to listen to your body, and then that allows you to have 3 to 4 days of strength training, and you can pair that together how you want. Some people prefer to do split days because it just works a little bit better with their speed work. So if you are training for a specific race, you are going to have to put your running as a priority and then make your strength training match that. If strength is your priority, you're going to make your strength a priority and make your running fit into that. So you'll probably just do more tempo runs, more steady state cardio, whereas if you are training for an actual race or event, you're gonna focus a little bit more on intervals, speed work, fartleks, that sort of stuff. And then for those to be able to really count and give it your all, you're gonna have to say, okay, well, I don't wanna do this the day after a leg workout, so I'm gonna do my leg workout on a Monday. I'm gonna take Tuesday to do a tempo run, and then on Wednesday, I'm gonna do a fartlet, right? Or you can do leg day on Monday, you can do a tempo run and an upper body on Tuesday, and then your speed work on Wednesday, and then take Thursday as a complete rest day. I definitely recommend a rest day either between workouts or no more than 3 workouts and then a rest day. Those are really, really important. But if you've ever wondered, like, man, is running gonna affect my strength, and is strength gonna affect my running? It might while you're in the process of a program, but again, remember, that's why people do tapers. That's why you have that rest week before a big event, so that you can rest, your body can recover and catch up and use the work that you have put in to build and get you to that event. So hopefully that helps. At least I wanted to point out like how to structure it in terms of like run versus workout, like, and I say workout as strength training. So most days you want to strength train and then run, because strength training is so important, and you don't want to be super fatigued going into your lifts versus you can run on tired legs. There's nothing wrong with running on tired legs. And I think that's a really important note, is people are like, but my legs are going to be tired. It's okay. They're supposed to be tired. And running on tired legs builds a lot of strength and a lot of stamina. That does not set you up for overtraining. It might set you up for overreaching, but overreaching is actually an important thing, because that's what forces your body to adapt and build fitness. As long as you're giving yourself proper recovery time, you're hydrating, especially right now with summertime, it is so hot outside, so make sure you're hydrating, make sure you are drinking at least 1 electrolyte per day, depending on where you are and how sweaty you get when you work out. Make sure that you are sleeping 7 to 8 hours, and make sure you are trying to decrease the other stresses in your life, and you're going to get all the benefits in the world from your program. But if you have specific questions, like there's a specific question about trying to fit in running and lifting, let me know, reach out, and we can absolutely go more and more in detail over this. But this is what the research shows, so go get them. Do not be afraid to get some cardio in. I think, again, especially lifters in the past have always been like, I don't want to lift because I don't want to run because I don't want to lose my gains. In order to be an overall healthy person, strength training is absolutely important. It is important for your bone health. It is important for your muscle mass. It is important for your metabolic health. It is important for your body composition. But equally as important is our cardio health. We want healthy lungs and a healthy heart. So it's not about one or the other. It's about making both of them fit in. And I am all about that hybrid training. And I'm actually using the hybrid technique in another aspect of my life, not with training. I'm going to be coining something real soon that I've never heard before, but I'm gonna give myself a couple of weeks before I share that. But yeah, go be a hybrid athlete. Go be a hybrid person. That's what health and fitness is all about. You don't have to be one or the other. Be both. Get out there, lift some weights, bike some miles if you don't wanna run, but do something that brings your cardio, brings your heart rate up, makes you breathe a little bit harder, at least once or twice a week. I cannot wait to get back on the road. My husband tried to convince me to not run this summer and just focus on my like sled pulls and building up my leg strength. And I'm like, no, that's the one thing that I do 100% for me. I talk about this, you guys have heard it. I'm not giving it up. I love it. I love it. All right, you guys, but remember, if you want my free recipe book, the link is down below. And if you have questions or comments, never reach out to me. Make sure that you subscribe, leave a comment, leave a review, and I will be back on Friday on the podcast platforms. And if you watch this on YouTube, I'll be back next week. But go follow me over on the podcast ones too, so you can hang out with me more often. Or just come and try Fit Women's Weekly Live. Specifically, you guys, come try the summer shred. I promise you, it's gonna be worth it. You're gonna get a lot out of it. Thank you so much. Thank you guys. That's all I gotta say. All right, I will talk to you later.